Okay, so now we're going to do past participle. This is page 26. There you go. And it says practice workbook page 26 at the top. So this is past participle, and it's just a star plus participio. And this is what you're going to see. This is that stuff that's going to usually end in ado or edo. Ado, obviously, for AR verbs, and edo for ER-IR verbs. Silly me not writing it on my beautiful little sticky note here. So, past participles, they are almost always going to go with the verb star. When they don't, I know I saw this somewhere the other day, like I can say it was laying there broken on the floor. Well, it was laying there is kind of the verb happening there, so I don't need to really say again it was broken. I just say broken. So, estaba allí en el piso roto. Does that make sense? Like it was there on the floor broken. So I didn't have to use a star again before roto, but normally you are going to see it with a star, as you'll see in this activity. So past participles, like I just said, AR, you're going to get to the stem or the root of the verb, and you're going to add ado to the end. And then ER-IR, you're going to add edo. And of course, there are the irregulars, and apparently there are 8 hoes and 2, no wait, 8 toes and 2 hoes. I said that wrong. All right, so I've got abierto, escrito, muerto, puesto, vuelto, roto, I skipped, sorry, if you're looking through your notes. Dicho, oops, let's do all the toes first. Resuelto, or resuelto, visto, and then the 2 hoes, dicho and hecho. So these are a good group to memorize right here for your test. But these are the irregulars. Everything else is going to follow this pattern right here. And because these do act like adjective, they do need to match in gender and in number. Okay, so keep that in mind and let's get to filling this out. This is a long story. You're supposed to be discussing something happened in the workshop. But basically you're answering everything, no, it's already done. Okay, so no, las ventanas, ya. Y'all know what ya means? It means already. Estaban cerradas. Okay. If somebody actually asked me this question in real life, ¿Alguien cerró las ventanas? I would say, no, ya estaban cerradas. I don't need to put las ventanas here, okay? Obviously, in that conversation, you said, did anybody close the windows? I would say, no, they were already closed. They is kind of indicated by the verb I'm using. I don't need to reiterate the subject there. They're doing this for the benefit of you and so that you know that I'm matching las ventanas with the verb estar here, and it needs to be in the plural because this is plural. Okay, and then obviously the word after it needs to match my subject, which is feminine and plural. Got it? Again, it's a little bit harder if you leave out the subject here, but in real life, and you'll get used to this the more you talk, in real life you don't necessarily need to say it. And you don't need to have a direct object pronoun there either. In real life, you would just say, ya estaban cerradas. All right, so los artistas hicieron el trabajo. No, ya estaba hecho el trabajo. Okay, so actually this should say El trabajo ya estaba hecho. Again, I wouldn't put this there. So, but no, el trabajo ya estaba hecho. And I can look at my subject here, which is el trabajo, and it ends in an O, which I just drew a line through. Sorry about that. It ends in an O and no S, so that means my answer, hecho, here will also end in an O and no S. And estaba must be singular because this is singular. Okay? And the good news on all this is that I believe they're all going to be estaba or estaban because I'm talking about objects and not about anybody else. So there's not a whole lot of guesswork there. All right. See if I can get a little bit closer there. Okay. So, ellas pintaron los cuadros. No, los cuadros ya estaban pintados. Cuadros pintados. Cuadros is plural, so estaban. Okay. Next one. Los estudiantes pusieron las paletas en la mesa. No, las paletas ya estaban puestas. Now let's look at this for a second. That's what we've been doing on all these other ones, is just stopping with the verb, right? But first of all, that's all that was listed here. And second of all, did anybody paint the paintings? No, the paintings were already painted. Okay? So I don't need to put anything else there. Did anybody put the palettes on the table? No, the palettes were already put. Put where? Put on the table. So you need to add this to the end there. Ellos decoraron el taller. Let me move down. And I'm going to have no, el taller ya estaba decorado. Alguien apagó las luces. Apagó is to turn off. No, las luces ya estaban apagadas. Because it's las luces. Luz you can't tell, but you can tell it with las. So this will be plural, and this will end in as well. Moving on. ¿El profesor se acaba de dormir? No. El profesor ya estaba dormido. And then the last one, los estudiantes escondieron las esculturas. No, las esculturas ya estaban escondidas. All right, so esculturas, as, an, because this is plural. El profesor is masculine, so this is going to be masculine. This is singular, so that's singular. Hopefully I made this seem easy, but I don't want to give you too much confidence. Make sure that you understand what the sentence is saying. I can read this and say the students hid the sculptures. No, the sculptures were already hidden because I followed the pattern here. But if you don't know what's going on, then maybe you're going to say, no, ya estaban escondidos los estudiantes, which isn't the right answer there. Okay, so just pay attention to what the sentence is actually saying before you make a guess on that. All right, so that's it on that.